if I could click a button and make ghosting not even a thing, I would do that for sure. Because I think being honest with someone and being straightforward is just on top of it all.
Give me one.
Please,
No, like you would make the world a
I'd
better
rather
place.
not say.
And I give me one. What are you?
We spoke on WhatsApp still, but then suddenly I noticed that there's no message in between. Like I send a text just to see how things are from her side, and then I just suddenly don't get a message back.
I'm curious, what are some of the biggest reasons why you guys have had to ghost a person? Let's explore that.
I think for me, it was probably just the most awkward date I've ever been on.
Tell me about it. What up, people? We are back. We are live. What's good? Meine Leute, Damen und Herren. Wie geht es dir?
I'm good.
Jessica, you can't speak German. Kannst du kein Deutsch?
Nein.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm going to enroll you in a course.
Please go away. You don't want to embarrass yourself.
Ich spreche gute Deutsch, Leute. Aber sie nicht, okay? Aber...
What are you feeling like? If I speak Italian, can you reply me? That's the question.
Okay, anyway, nice to be back. Nice to be back on the show. Nice to be back. How are you doing? You good?
I'm good. I can't complain.
We can't complain. We always like to say now, so we can't complain.
But can I complain?
No.
Because we're going to spend hours here.
Don't let's start.
I'm good.
We hope you guys are good and you're in good spirits as well. Today we bring you a new show, a new topic. Live from the city of Berlin. There I say, the best city. I don't know why I always say that, bro.
Yeah, I don't know. Are you paid to do PR? Like,
Definitely
what the...
Yo, I don't think I even believe.
There's so many cities to
But you don't know, though. Maybe like the city of Berlin is watching our podcast at some point and they're like, we like the way this guy's
The
promote
city of
the
Berlin, you mean
city.
the mayor or the what?
Yeah, the mayor, all of them.
Because
So, yeah, like the government of
I know
Berlin.
people will agree to disagree.
So,
like Berlin being the best city, but it's an amazing city. I have to say,
it is. Well, I think I stole that from some YouTubers who always say something like New York, like the greatest city in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, so maybe we can give that same vibe.
Maybe if you go to New York, then you know if they're saying the truth, and you're just trying to copy and paste.
But I shouldn't have given because now anytime I say it, people won't believe me again, which is.
No, I never agree, so I'm sure they don't believe you. I've never agreed to that. So,
anyways, it's great to be back. We have two amazing guests with us today, right? And we're talking about an interesting topic: ghosting and crazy dating stories in Berlin.
I think it's a spicy topic. I really can't wait to hear the crazy stories.
I know,
who
right?
ghosted who?
Who
When you
ghosted
ghosted?
Yo. What my eyes have seen,
Including
I
you.
can't tell it all.
If you see, I want to hear your story.
But anyway, so now we go to introduce our guests. Usually we like to let you guys introduce yourselves. We start the drum roll now. So drum roll.
I need to get Toby's energy. Drum roll.
And over to you.
Yeah, so first of all, I'm happy to be here. I'm Roy. I'm 26 years old. Been in Berlin, Germany since 2020, so around 4.5 years almost. I'm currently playing poker around Europe as my main profession. I come
Interesting.
Yeah.
What are you doing for your profession?
My dear.
You enjoy playing poker?
I love it.
Oh God, can I? Oh, I used to watch you do.
There's a lot of money in this stuff?
There's always money involved. And there's big money when you reach the big tables. It just depends on where you are. And pretty much if you catch a good run, you can get very, very successful. It just depends on how good you're studying and how much of an effort you're putting.
Oh my God. Okay. I've always been curious about this game because it's one of those games like you see in movies, but you just, at least for me, I just see it in movies like they're moving chips and moving. What are they even doing, these people?
But did you notice
and there's always money on the table.
Did you notice something? When you said he's playing poker, they will shout, "Hey!"
Yeah, of course.
But now he said studying and all, so it's not easy.
It's not easy.
There's a lot of work put into it. So me and you, at first I was like, "Hey, just to play game. Let's start going."
But for me, I was surprised. Like I didn't see that coming. a professional poker player. Interesting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's really that common.
No, it's not.
I don't think I've ever met someone who just casually says I play poker for a living,
yeah.
even though I'm coming from that and
Okay.
I've been doing that for a while now. But to be honest, if it's outside of casinos, you don't really see those people often who come and say, "Oh, I do that for a living."
Right.
You know?
Okay.
But I think you get much more exposed to it as you grow within this profession.
Okay. Okay.
But I love every day.
Even calls it profession. I didn't even know that.
Like, can you see? It's like,
Poker
depends on
playing
how much you put
profession.
in and you study. So it's not easy.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's there's definitely a lot of hours like behind the scenes that you put in and studying the hands that you play and you know.
Bro, we need to come and do
I'm
a special
curious,
course.
where are you from?
I come from Israel. That's a good point. I forgot to mention
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I'm Israeli. I came here originally I also have family here they've been living here for longer than I have.
Okay.
So 9-10 years almost.
Nice.
And I kind of followed the footsteps of kind of reuniting with my family. My parents moved 2 years after me, so kind of having
Bringing
the
everybody
whole-
together.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it's a
I saw
blessing. You saw it, huh?
Yeah.
so
I'm like,
family-
family
that's
man.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you
That's
can tell.
impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never hiding family.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's
actually.
impressive. The good values. Interesting
You're
stuff.
right.
Let's come to Lenah. Like, tell us something about yourself.
Well, like you already said, my name is Lenah. I'm 23 years old and I'm from Botswana. I've been living in Germany, I would say, like 4 years now.
And always in Berlin?
Yeah, no, actually not.
Okay.
Because when I first came, I came to like visit my sister.
Okay.
In Berlin. I was supposed to stay for 3 months, but I got stuck here for 9 months
Whoa.
because of Corona.
I saw.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But like when I went back and I came back, I stayed in Essen for 6 months
Okay.
because I was on au pair program.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Let's,
And then I moved to Berlin because I wanted to like study and work in Berlin.
nice.
And also because my sister's here. You know, like you said, family is
Yeah.
everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love
so
to hear it.
I'm doing an Ausbildung in
Mhm.
nursing.
Yeah.
Second year now, so I'm almost done, thank God.
Oh, thank God.
It's a whole lot of
Do you
work.
enjoy it?
I do sometimes.
Okay.
Oh,
cool.
sometimes.
Sometimes
it's
not, sometimes
It's a really
not.
difficult profession, I'm not gonna lie.
Wow.
It needs someone with a very strong heart.
Hmm.
And I feel like sometimes I'm a bit too sensitive for the job.
For the job, yeah.
Whoa. Okay. Interesting stuff. I won't go deeper into that one. Yeah, I mean, I do have some like friends who work as nurses and stuff also. So yeah, interesting. But anyway, so today we invited you both, all right, to talk about your dating experiences in Berlin. We want to start about like with ghosting, right? So which is something I would say maybe not everyone has experienced, but I'll say most people have either ghosted someone or they've been ghosted. Yeah, the way she's smiling is like
Yeah.
you're very
I
good.
have a question. Have you been ghosted?
Yeah.
And have you ghosted
And have you
someone?
ghosted-
So, Lena, have you been ghosted?
I'm pretty sure I have been ghosted.
Have you ghosted someone?
Yeah.
So maybe it's what you did for someone that are doing back to you. They say you reap what you sow.
And Roy?
All right.
I have to say I'm unfortunately guilty of both.
Okay.
Okay,
Um,
interesting.
But have you mostly been on one side and the other? So have you been ghosted more than you've ghosted? I'll be curious.
I think there's one side that is more dominant than the other. for sure.
Okay, which is the
Which is me probably doing more ghosting.
It's always the guys. man.
Okay.
I don't-
Oh, so they
It's always the
ghosted
guys
you more.
doing the most.
Spiteful.
No.
Seriously, I would have thought like that. How do you say like guys are being ghosted more than girls? Like, or how do you say now?
I
Like the
think
guys receive the ghosting more than you giving it out. You know what I'm saying?
I
But
think
interesting
it's
stuff.
I think what you're saying has a point because most of my friends, most of my guy friends,
Okay.
have that experience of
Okay.
being ghosted by girls,
Yeah.
and I certainly had that too when I
Mhm.
started dating in Berlin. But like, you kind of get. I've never been a ghoster until I came here. To be fair, with you.
Whoa, what
that
is
is
it
the
about?
seat.
Let me
That's
tell
your
you.
amazing.
That's
Can you see?
insane.
Yo, chill. Take a chill pill, bro. Take a chill pill, bro. Yo, my bro. Bro, eh? Yeah, so but I mean, I'm wondering, like, what is it about Berlin that made you become a ghoster?
I kind of
when you
adapted
arrived?
to it.
Okay.
To be honest, because as I came here, first of all, I've been ghosted. So as I've seen, I've had this experience because where I come from, girls are pretty different they're more warm, they're more kind of like, touchy feely. And as you come to the dating world, depends obviously on who you date, what's their background, the cultural background, because it does play a role in the dating life. But I feel like what I've experienced, and I've dated a few Germans, and I think the culture background is very, very different. And then from what I've noticed, there's just an okay feeling with just not texting, not talking. After like you have a really, really good date, you can still suddenly get an experience from the other side who can just not talk to you for a few days completely. And I'm saying like 3-4 days of no contact, like it's been nothing happened.
Nothing.
And they would come back like after those days, like everything is normal.
Yes, that's the thing. This is what kind of frustrates you, because you don't know how to react to that. And where I come from, I did not experience that ever, so it was a new thing to me. But then, as things evolve and you kind of experience more and more of it, then you kind of have that ability as well. You kind of gain that, I would hate to say, attribute in some way.
But you then also do it to other people, for example.
You find not in the same harsh way of 3 or 4 days, complete no contact, but just maybe being a bit colder, adapting to the cold atmosphere.
Because it's like, this is how it works here, right?
Yeah, I feel exactly
So does it mean like you would use ghosting as a way to communicate to someone that you're not interested in them, but rather than saying it to their face, you just like ghost them? Like, is it a silent? Oh, she's nodding.
A
like,
cold way.
Tell me about it. Like, why is it the case?
I think for me, it'll depend.
Okay.
Sometimes it's not that easy to tell someone, okay, I'm not into you, just to leave it just like that, I mean, in my cases, for example, I don't really like breaking people's hearts. So I'll just rather leave things the way they are and just like pull back from the situation. Just let them get the signs, which is really cruel. I know. Sorry, not sorry.
Wow. First you said sorry,
like,
and
Not sorry.
But I mean, that's just how it is, to be honest. Like, you just leave things the way they are.
I'm curious though. How did you feel? So when you were ghosted?
To be honest, I don't really remember a situation where I was ghosted. But like, I don't know if that was ghosting, but I know like being mised. Like when someone mises you, like doesn't give you like the usual attention that you always get. Or they just like stop talking to you. I don't know if that's ghosting if they come back.
I mean,
I don't know. But yeah, so I know like of being mised, but like not completely ghosted, because I feel like when someone ghosted, they go away forever.
Yeah.
They don't come
Maybe you
back
write and they don't reply.
They don't reply. Yeah,
Maybe you went on a date and it went so well, and you think, oh, we're in the next stage, and all of a sudden you write, hi, I had a nice time, and you see red, no reply.
Exactly.
I had a nice time, red. Good morning, red.
Yo, but why are people so cruel? Like, why would you do that?
That's
though?
so cool. But then I really think I wouldn't tell somebody I don't like you. I just leave you there.
Exactly. That's
I
what
wouldn't
mean,
say I don't think I like you.
Okay, maybe let's explore that a bit.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like
do we think it should be like a normal thing to be able to like just tell someone like?
I think it should. I think if I could click a button and make ghosting not even a thing, I would do that for sure. Because I think being honest with someone and being straightforward is just on top of it all.
Give me one.
Please, come
No,
on.
like we make the world a better
I'd rather
place.
not say.
And I think
Give me one.
Wait, what are you? What is you giving me?
Whatever.
Yo, because I feel like, I mean, I don't want to start like gender wars here, but I feel like girls are like the queens of ghosting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the guys are the ones on the receiving end of this thing.
Depends, though.
And like, you can just have like a normal, like as an adult, like have a normal conversation with someone. Like if you're not
difficult.
like feeling them, you know what I'm saying? Like
That's
why?
crazy though,
not
because
that
the guys.
easy.
Let me tell you this:
Tell me
the
about
guys
that.
are usually the ones that like drag situations. Like, you could know, Bookie, that you don't like me,
But you just keep.
but you just keep me along. Just ride along with me and not tell me that
You don't
I
like
don't
me. Like, let's see how it goes, and you're like, fully you don't
And
like her.
to be honest, in that case, I would just be an option. Like, to me, I feel like you'd have a lot more other girls that you just drag along. You'd be like, okay, today I'm not feeling like Lenah, but I'm feeling like somebody else. You know what I mean?
Okay, so before your question, so for me but do you because I'm not sure if that is necessarily a bad thing, right? Because in this case, I'm not ghosting you as a guy, but like you're just like a friend.
You're wasting my time,
which is fine. But do you have to ghost me in return for that?
Friend? What is a friend?
I mean, like. If you don't have
enough friends.
Exactly. Like what?
Jesus is your friend, my
these
dear.
people are gonna finish me today.
Yeah,
you say, what is that? What is it?
Yeah,
a friend is a friend now. Someone who is a friend.
So if you're like booking now, you're like with someone, talking to someone, whatever, you're trying to get to know somebody, and you went out for once and you realize you don't like this person.
Okay.
So you would say, hey, Jay, I just want to let you know today that, well, we have that, I'm not feeling you. Go your way. It is difficult. It's not so easy. So for me, if I'm ever in that situation, I think what I'll do is from the first time we talk, probably before we move to the next stage where I'm like, okay, am I going to keep talking to this person? It's easier to even say when someone is hitting on me, it's easier. Like for the first time, like, oh, thank you, but I'm not interested.
Not interested.
Then when we like try to make a step, like maybe a date, and I can see the other person all smiley and happy, like he's had the best day of his life. I'd rather not reply when he writes, I'll be like, oh, thank you for today. Okay, thanks. Then if he writes the next day, I've been thinking about you, I'll just leave you. Because I cannot say, oh, I know you had enough stuff, but I just want you to know that I don't.
So I don't think it's going to come like very direct. Like,
how would it come? It just has to come.
But you could like still say like, hey, like,
goes.
Yeah, it was nice, because once you start seeing those text messages, like you said, right, like, what is I'm thinking about, blah, and if you're not feeling it, right, like, it's also okay to just like,
I don't think we are fit or something.
No, like, it was like a nice time, but I think for now, maybe I'm looking to like, I don't know.
It's not that easy though.
I don't know, because I feel like you're setting like a very good, like, level of understanding, right? Yeah. And for the guy or the girl, whoever it is in this situation, you don't have to like, like at least if you want to keep like pressuring this person, it's out of but you've gotten the feedback, you've gotten the message, right? Yeah. And for me, it's this question of like, because it's still the same thing you're doing in the end, you're still passing the message. That's my point, right? But you're just doing it by not talking.
Yeah, if you write me 2 days, I don't reply and I read it, just take your cue.
Like, I could be busy.
Come on, you could.
Yeah, 2 days. I think my pet died or something. And
I think I have to say the tendency to do that comes more from women, as you've said. Yeah. And I think the reason for it, from what I've experienced, is just because naturally women have more options than guys. They have more options, whereas like for women, it's just easier to switch to another guy that they find more interesting to talk to. Therefore, guys, if they actually find someone who they like and they can actually get an access to, they put a lot more effort into kind of chasing game, and that's a whole other part of effort. But if the girl doesn't really, it's not her priority, this specific person or this specific guy, then she will probably ghost him just because she wants to keep him as an option for plan B, C, and D.
And this is
I feel like you're saying that, but like you're speaking on us, like on
your behalf
of women.
That's what we think.
From our perspective, that's exactly what men do. Come on now.
Wow.
Please.
Yeah. Like saying girls women have more options.
We have more options.
The same thing we say men always have option A, B, C,
D. You don't think so?
Men have options. Do I need to explain that
options, post options?
I think it depends on the man. Because here's the thing, statistically speaking, if a man is doing very well and he has a higher status when it comes to money, cars, or whatever it is, it attracts certain types of girls, maybe not every girl, but it does attract girls in general, and therefore they have more options. Yeah. But for the lower echelon of guys, so the guys who, they are very average looking, they have an average job, average income, they're not too flashy with their clothes, they're probably not going to attract as many females.
No, they won't.
And therefore, they're not going to have as much options. So if they actually find a girl who talks back to them, they're going to keep chasing that girl. And eventually, what ends up happening is, if that girl has more options, it's going to end up in ghosting him.
Yeah. I agree with you on that. I have to say. Yeah, that I agree. Yes, I agree. Because then whatever the man have attracts the girl. So even if it's interested in A, there's B, C, D, Y that's interested in him. But for women, it's with that particular. Yeah.
Do you know the numbers? Like, I don't have it like here, but on Tinder, for example, like the number of matches
Bruh.
like you get like as a woman versus like a man.
Yeah.
You know what those
It's
men
crazy.
want on Tinder?
Tell me.
Can we speak about what those men on
Yeah.
Tinder
Berlin
want?
men on Tinder. What do
Dust
they
them.
want?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know what they want?
What?
Yeah. Okay. No,
Why
we
are
know.
you speaking on
Tell us.
their
What do
behalf?
they
No.
want? Do you know
Because
what
to
they
be
want?
honest, if
I
I
don't
if I
know.
meet you on Bumble,
Tell me.
then I'll just I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You're
Okay.
probably just looking for a relationship. You're not finding it easy like meeting people
Yeah.
physically. So you're like trying the dating life,
Yeah.
But like let's talk about Tinder is just sex, guys. Come on now. Let's
Oh,
stop
really?
it there.
Is that how it works in Berlin?
Tinder
You don't
in
know that.
Berlin?
You don't know the
I
update.
know.
Bruh.
Yeah.
All the guys on Tinder in Berlin, I'm sorry, y'all, but we all know you want sex, come.
Whoa.
Fuck.
Okay.
Let's stop pretending.
Catch yourself.
So
Let's
Tinder
stop
is for sex.
pretending.
Okay.
Right.
Nice
That's
to
how
know.
I know
Yo.
it ever since I moved to Berlin.
Yeah.
Tinder is for sex.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean, I just mentioned Tinder as example, right? So when you could say the same for Bumble, for Inch, for example, no?
Hinge maybe
It's
relationship.
just, yeah, so but still, what I mean is like the number of like matches you get as a female versus a
Yeah.
male. You're gonna see like if you have both accounts you can compare.
Women get more.
Bro,
Yes.
come
Oh,
on.
wow.
Yo,
Why? Let's talk about
like
why
you
women
have
get more.
uncountable, and that was to the point he's trying to say. Women have more
Yeah.
options.
Now I
Just
get
naturally.
it.
You know what I'm saying? But the guys is a situation.
I refuse to get it, but I get it. But
Get
I
it by
will not
force.
admit it.
Women have more options, and I think that's one of the reasons why they can easily just ghost a guy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because once you move on to the next shiny thing that comes your way, right?
Yeah.
You don't have, and especially like in cases where like you've had like some good time even with this guy. You know what I'm saying? Not so okay, maybe good time, but even like good discussions, good like have you ever been in conversation with someone on Hinge or Bumble? Like you were talking and like was really good.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
bro,
they
like,
ghosted you.
It's just you're even like, should I be concerned if this person died?
What did I say? I think in such a situation, you now go back to your text and you're like, was this wrong?
Exactly.
Was I supposed to say I like blue?
You
or is it black or something? Yes. And I also am trying to reason with you guys and now I understand. So for a girl, for example, we're always like when it's society, it's not the number, it's almost as the number where men make the first move. So
True.
for example, now for you now, 7 guys might be interested in you and 5 would make their move on you at the same time.
True.
And you could be interested in many guys, but as a lady, you'd be like, oh, I don't think I want to make the first move.
True.
So that is already like
Yeah.
a very, with what he's saying. So
Right.
yeah, now you get it, right?
Yeah.
So
Now
we're
you
on the same
see.
page.
Yeah.
That's smart.
It's a natural thing, and I think also when it comes to just women having more options naturally, as even if you're for instance, you can compare it to the most average thing. If you compare an average looking woman to an average looking man, naturally the woman would just have more access to dating or more and more men as usual. For a man to reach a point where he can just go on multiple dates and actually be having an outcome out of them, I think it's way harder, just because women also control a lot more access to different types of interactions. For the man, if yes, he can make a move, and I think, by the way, it's another topic that we're talking about. But when it comes to dating in Berlin, this is something I would like to pitch in on, because girls see things very differently here when it comes to the dating world.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, so for instance, what I've experienced with girls here is they kind of take on the role of the guy a lot of the times. In my specific case, I am a guy who is. I consider myself a gentleman. I consider myself a kind of an old school guy who still opens doors for women, in the cars or everywhere
impressive.
I go. And I try to treat women with the utmost respect. But some girls, from what I've experienced in Berlin, especially when it comes to the dating world, they see it as overwhelming. They see it as someone who is just trying to like compete with. Oh, you can't open the door for me.
I want my door to be open.
I don't need
Open my door.
Tell me
Stuff
about
like that, so-
what do
Please
you call
open
it?
the
This,
doors for me. I want to be treated like a pet.
independent woman.
That doesn't mean I'm not independent. Please open the doors. Do everything you want to do. Like I
So you're telling me like Berlin women are
It's just naturally different.
Different.
I think it has a lot to do with how, you know, they grow up here and how the whole system is like, because, you know, when it comes to things like that, you know, opening doors or just like, this is a whole other, the paying for dinner thing. I'm sure it's been talked about and talked about constantly. But the way I see it, and it's very controversial constantly, the men should pay. The man should pay at least for the first date, and that's just my general opinion.
A man should pay for the first date.
At least.
I don't know how to react because we had one episode where we're talking about this, and I'm like, yes, for a first date, a man should pay.
Why though?
Yeah, it's a first date. Like, it's not like we cannot pay. So it was a different conversation, and we're talking about something entirely different on the same podcast, but like a different context, and where we're talking about cultural differences. And somebody said he likes German women, he's Nigerian. It's like they come here and they pick only the 50-50 and leave every other thing on the people do. And he was like he liked white girls, you have to split 50-50 with them. He likes that. But for like a Nigerian girl, he expects you to pay for everything. And I'm like, it's not like, if you're interested in someone, the first date, you're taking her out. Imagine when we end up dating and 5 years ago, I'll be like, do you remember our first date? I paid for my burger and you paid for yours.
Yeah.
What's that? Like,
yeah, like because you're both adults working and you can spend your money. Like,
it's a date. I don't get it.
Yeah, like why is it
in the relationship? Yes, I would spend money, but like first dates, you're asking me out on a date because you find me fancy. We're trying to take a step because you think we could go somewhere as prospect. For a first date, if you ask me to split, it's not like I cannot pay.
Would that be a reason why you would go someone if they invited you?
I'm sure that I wouldn't even go on a date with somebody that asked me to pay.
No, but they might not tell you in advance.
Yes,
like
but
many times it's like
I've never ever been in that situation.
You're there and then it's like, you know, good trip.
And I think it's also a cultural thing because I'm in this group on like this international group for women in Berlin. So everybody's always talking about the crazy dating scenes, how it's impossible to find something or you're in a relationship with somebody from here and all of a sudden they're acting like 10 days, you've not heard from them.
Wow.
And they come back like it's normal. So that's why I can agree. And somebody was like, can you believe I went on a date with this person? And I was asked to split. I'm like, no way, I'm moving forward. So maybe it's a cultural thing or
I think you're definitely right about the cultural thing, but on top of it, like it's something that is being very added onto nowadays with the whole, the man pays, the man doesn't pay, it's 50-50, it's 50-50. I think in Europe in general, they still have that thing where it's like, well, at least in countries like Germany, Czech Republic, where I visit quite often, I've noticed it's a lot of the times 50-50. But whether I think, it's the correct way for everyone, for me personally, no. But I think for other people, it might suit them perfectly. Yeah, I think it depends also on how they see the relationship, because if the man or the woman is not in the same view of like how they see the relationship going, or like they have old school kind of roots, from their parents, because when you're a child, you see your parents, you see how the relationship is, you take some influence from it. So I feel like for me, when I go on a date and I decide, I want you to be with me, take time from your personal time to be with me, and she gets ready and she's excited and she does all the things she does, I want to treat her. And when I take her on that date, I want to make her feel like, she's having the best time. And I don't want to ever make her feel like she now needs to start pulling out her credit card, calculating, that's my part.
I ate that. Okay. No, you have onion. I didn't have onion in my food. It's more expensive. It's real. Yeah. But really curious though, both of you, including Buki, if you've been ghosted. Has there been a situation where you were ghosted by someone you really thought like this was really going somewhere, where you felt like, okay, I think this is my person. I think I found someone. And all of a sudden you're like, okay, what happened? If you ever been in such a situation, and how did you get over it? How did you move on from that? Like, okay, this is one of it.
Well, in my case, I can say that I had a situation where I felt like, this could be going somewhere. I wouldn't say, from the get-go, it's super serious, because I think it's very rare, at least for me, to feel that way. But I did have a situation where I went on a date and it felt pretty good. Both sides were happy. We had jokes. We were drinking. not much, not to the point, I don't drink personally. I don't drink often, but like both sides had a good vibe. And then, I take her back home, and suddenly, after a few days of talking, there's no talking at all. And then, then you come to a point where you think, okay, what could have went wrong? And you think to yourself, and then we spoke on WhatsApp still, but then suddenly I noticed that there's no message in between. Like I send a text just to see how things are from her side, and then I just suddenly don't get a message back, even though the message has been read after a day or two. And I'm just thinking to myself, what could actually go wrong? Like, what do I? And then you start thinking, I think it's also a man thing. Maybe women do it too. Probably some. But you always start to think, okay, what could have I said wrong?
Yeah, which was
that's what I said. Yeah,
right. But I couldn't figure it out exactly. But I think it might have had some stuff to do with like the fact that I paid.
Yeah.
Now that I think, because then now that I remember it, so when I was taking around and it got to the point of the bill and I paid for it, and she's like, no, I want to do it and I want to pay for myself, and then I was like, it's kind of this small little awkward fight. And I was insistent to pay because I was like, no, I took you out, it was my idea to take us on
to take you out.
And I think like she maybe took it to a personal level where she might have felt like she was overwhelmed by the fact that I insist to pay. Like me paying for her makes her, have to owe me something. I don't know. But
Is it German lady?
Yeah.
He's like, yes.
And did you ever have such situation where you felt like, I really thought this was something, and not necessarily though, but
to be honest, I wouldn't say it was like me being ghosted. It was probably like me being mised, because I caught feelings in a situation where I shouldn't have caught feelings, and I feel
we've all been there.
Yeah, it was probably it's probably a situation where we could have been like great friends even to this day, but I feel like me catching feelings probably just ruined everything.
Yeah,
but the good thing is like you catch feelings for someone who's able to tell you like, look, Lenah, I can't be that guy for you, so this is not gonna be what you want it to be, so it's better if we just like stay friends.
Yeah, that's healthy actually. That's healthy.
Interesting stuff. I mean, like from your point, just maybe to cycle back a bit, usually for me, if someone is telling me they want to pay for something, like, by all means, I must
you want to pay before.
Yo, you're making my life easier, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't insist. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you say like, oh no, don't worry. Thank you. God bless you. I mean, like, there are some people, I mean, so like, for example, I don't like in Nigeria and stuff, right? You also have like a way, like when someone is saying like, don't worry, but you know that. Yeah. Like, not just, but yo, like, if you're dealing with like some of this, I don't know, like people who, like they're not also from your culture, that you understand
like
some of those nuances. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to know if someone tells you like, no, I want to pay, they mean it like, I want to pay. You know what I'm saying? And like respect it, because I mean, but now you assuming like maybe that was the reason, right? It's also possible maybe
but
that.
Sometimes.
So I'm just curious. So like you never heard back from this lady till today. You didn't bump into her at some point?
No. This rarely happens. But I did get a message back after a while saying that she just felt like we had a good time, but she was looking for something else, a bit different. And that's fine.
That's cool.
But the thing that you read the messages, and it's been a date and you still don't have a feedback. This is kind of like, let me tell you this. I'm guilty of the two. Yeah, I said that before. Yeah. I'm not a saint, but I don't support it. I don't want to do it. I don't like it. I just think it's I adapted to it because that's kind of like what I've experienced here, but I don't think it's the right thing to do. Because people's feelings is something that I consider very highly of, especially women who I know take it very, very, very deeply. But yeah, this happened. it's a case where I feel like this could have been a significant reason, because that's the only semi conflict I could have
thought about.
yeah.
Okay. I'm curious. What are some of the biggest reasons why you guys have had to ghost a person? Let's explore that.
I think for me, it was probably just the most awkward date I've ever been on.
Tell me about it.
Because I went on a date with this guy.
Okay.
And we met on Bumble. We'd been talking for like a while, and things were good through the phone. And we met up like once before we went on this date. So like we decided to go to the cinema.
Okay.
And once we get there, like he buys for the tickets, obviously, and like we go inside. We don't get any food, which was okay because I didn't feel like eating that day. I swear, by the way. So we get inside the cinema, and once the movie starts, like in between, he takes out a donut from his bag.
A what? A what? Sorry. Donut.
He takes out a donut from his bag. Y'all know how bad.
Like,
y'all know that smells.
I don't know what's worse.
He took out one thing. Like, what did he take out from his bag? A donut.
A donut.
And you're like,
bruh, he didn't even offer me a bite.
No, I can't do this.
Not that I wanted it, but like you didn't even offer me a bite.
Price, a whole meal or something. I don't know.
So he takes out a donut from his bag. He starts eating. And mind you, while the movie is going on, he keeps on talking. I'm like, boy, shut up.
So he's eating donut.
Yes. I'm like, bruh.
First of all, the smell from the...
Exactly.
In
I'm
the
like,
whole...
I'm like, nah, I don't know this man,
A donut.
So you feel ashamed to do?
I did, to be honest. I'm not gonna lie, because it was...
I would ghost him at the cinema. He say hi. I'm like, we don't come together.
So like, he eats his donut. Okay, that's cool. Like, do you, man?
Yeah.
Do you? And he keeps on eating. When he's done eating, he's like, oh, I'll be back. I'm like, okay, say less. He goes, bruh. He comes back with the cup of cola.
Okay.
This big cola.
Yeah, the big one.
And he puts it on my side of the chair. And I think, oh, he bought something. For me. That's
and next thing he picked it up.
Exactly. That's what he did. He takes it and he drinks. I'm like, was this for me? Was it for us? Or like, was it for yours? Like, I don't understand what's going on, So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna drink it because obviously
it's not for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's, and then before the movie even ends, it's like, oh, I need to go. Can you come with me shortly? So like, mind you, the movie is just like in between, like in the middle.
So he didn't even watch the movie.
So he was living in the middle.
He was living in the middle, like, oh, I have something to do tomorrow. I'm like, oh, okay, say less. I'm just gonna see you out, and then when we're out, he wants to make out with the donut inside your mouth.
No way! That is crazy.
I swear to God.
When I see you out, I'm like, me? I know you. No way.
When I got out, I was like, bruh, just go home, okay?
Bye.
That's
Boy,
it.
bye.
What did you do? Like
Just
you
go
blocked
home.
him, like...
I didn't even block him.
No, what I mean, like, you wanted to kiss you or something?
Yes,
like, outside of the cinema?
With the
kiss me
donut,
outside.
the onion, and everything in it.
Do you know how bad donut smells?
Oh my God.
Who knows how long it's been?
Especially with onions.
like-
When it has onions in it.
Oh my days. Like, do you have any idea how bad that is? And I was just there like, this man cannot be serious.
Who brings the donuts to cinema? What the heck is that?
Yeah, that was just the end of him hearing from me.
Girl, high five. But if you're spoken to him after, something must be wrong.
No, I mean, like, okay, so many things are wrong on many levels.
So now,
but yo, like,
things
it's
are
almost...
going on. Where did he buy the donut from? I'm
I
curious.
don't even have an idea.
But can I ask you a question though? Like when he pulled out that donut, right?
Yeah.
Did you feel like the date's over for you? Do you feel like there's ever a future for that? or in that moment, did you like think
This was the moment.
there's no chance? There's
To
no
be honest, you know what? The thing with me is that I don't really mind what you do.
Yeah.
He probably had a reason for bringing his own donut. Maybe he think,
What is the reason though? Can you give
Maybe he
me?
was starving.
Maybe.
I know I said it before.
Genau, and donut
maybe he
is
didn't
like
have
fills
money
you
to
up
like
now.
buy popcorn.
But you paid for
And
the
he went
donut,
to
right?
buy a drink, a big size, and he didn't give you. And he was, oh my God, this
Wow.
And mind you, that was after.
Huh?
That was after like the whole donor part.
And he didn't even offer, even with a face gesture, like,
you know, if he had like, okay, do you want to take a bite?
and
Maybe
you're like,
I'd
oh
be like,
no.
okay, maybe is this considerate? He didn't even offer me a bite.
And I went,
I think the real problem though was like it just didn't offer you, right? I feel
yeah,
like
she didn't have a problem with the donor
I
because she was
didn't
like,
have a problem.
because you could, there are ways you could do like donut in a cinema, you know, like you must split it out and like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like this is a mini picnic in the cinema, so
not a picnic with the donor. No, bruh. If he brought like nachos or like chips, you know,
yeah, I get that
that
part.
would have been understandable.
But did you ever have a thought in your mind, this dude's broke? Or did this
Look, I'm broke myself, so like
yeah, because she didn't have an issue with the donor. She said he sat there when he finished it. He didn't offer her. Then he went to get a drink, a big cup.
I
Yeah.
see.
Put it
But
in
it's like
between them, like
everything-
it's for both of them.
it was everything in combination.
And wanting
You
to
know
make
what I
out after all
like,
of that.
I
like,
see.
like,
Turn out.
it's just a crazy. Like, are you crazy?
I mean, I'm
Like-
I'm
I
tempted
see.
to ask
You know?
you where this person is from, but maybe I don't.
He's, like, he's Nigerian.
Oh, okay.
No, my Nigerian brothers, why you doing this to us though? You know what I'm saying? Fam, why you doing this, fam?
Why did you say that? You know where in Nigeria he was from? I really like to detach
No,
myself from that.
don't
Do you
let's go there.
see now why
You
I
know-
was
you
shocked
remember
when
his
I asked
real
him,
name?
who is this? You see?
You remember his real name? I need to say that.
Oh, was it the one?
Yeah.
Oh,
you know you
I
met
swear.
him.
no, she told me the story like
Yeah.
behind
'Cause
before we started.
In my head,
I really want to know where
I painted a
he's
German.
from. I need to detach
In
myself.
my head, I don't know why. I painted a German guy.
No, he's not.
You told this German guy.
I
Yeah,
don't even think all due respect to Germans. I don't even think Germans would do that.
I was gonna say I don't
Not
know
even
what
a
a
donut
German
for,
bring
like-
like
Yeah,
donut
like
to-
to a cinema when it's not allowed. They
Bruh.
wouldn't do that.
But Nigerian bro, like, come on.
Bro, why you do that?
You're
Why?
right. You're right, because Germans will pull out a
I mean,
beefy.
you fall
A
my
beefy.
hand.
Even
Like,
a beefy, I think a beefy would do. But like donut,
beefy
bruh.
would
The
shut
whole
is wrong
cinema
with
was
you?
probably
Okay.
smelling of that donut.
Bro. Okay, but
Bruh.
wait. Circle back. So did the guy reach out to you after like that meeting, that
He
date?
did, and I might.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
So
You
which
did
is
the
like
right
you
thing.
didn't completely like ignore him, but you
Yeah.
kind of just reduced like the energy and like you didn't like
I
entertain,
never reached out.
but you responded to his text.
No.
Oh,
After that date, I just minded everything.
yeah.
okay. Because I think you were trying to say like difference between like mising and ghosting, no?
No,
Are you-
I was saying in my situation, I
Yeah.
don't remember a situation where I've been like ghosted.
Oh, that's for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I have ghosted.
You have ghosted. In
Yeah.
this case, you ghosted him.
I
so
ghosted him,
not really like
for
him.
sure.
Wow. And so like he texted you and
Yeah.
like you just didn't reply.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And I've also
Okay.
had a situation where I went on a date with someone and just on the date I realized, nah, bruh, you are not for me.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
normal.
And when he texted me, he was like, oh, I didn't expect this from you, yada yada. I just even more.
I really need to know what is the mouse you're saying. What does it mean?
What does it so
You
mice?
miced or what?
Him, we should
When
When
why
you say
say
you
you
miced
miced someone?
someone, what does it mean?
like you ignored.
Oh,
Okay, interesting
that's
stuff.
new
So
for
so
me.
you know but I think
That's
at the beginning
ghosting
you were
too.
you were trying to paint the like difference between like micing someone and like ghosting someone.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, like
this is the-
mising someone. It's
Yeah.
like when you. I feel like for me, in my perspective, when you mise someone, you just ignore someone for a certain period of time.
then you
But
still
then you
reply
reached out.
later.
yo, you
And when you ghost someone,
you just leave
That's
them there.
complete.
You know?
Okay, cool,
Yeah.
cool. In this
Donna.
in this case, the first guy. So, do you think like you could have at least told him like, yo, like, I'm sorry, like for this and this and this reason, like
Mm.
I ain't just feeling you on that level, bro. Like you didn't try, man. Like you know what I'm saying, and give him that feedback. Or because I have a feeling that maybe a girl was not gonna do this if she already knows also like, yeah, this guy's not. But maybe if this guy was someone who, like, despite what he did, yeah, I'm not trying to say like you're materialistic as a person, but like a materialistic girl, if this was a guy, like, I don't know, who's driving like a Porsche or whatever, and he draws out a donut in the cinema, like, bro, you're gonna like ignore that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, and you're probably gonna tell, you see where she's looking?
You
You're
said
not- you're gonna
Nah,
give it
'cause
like a
I'm
second
asking
chance.
myself why
You know what I'm
A
saying?
guy driving a Porsche to pull out a donut.
For whatever reason, he can, you know. So, or maybe let's leave like the materialistic part, right?
Yeah.
Like this guy is super good looking, like is like physically is like your dream guy. You know what I'm saying? Like he looks so good, tall, handsome, whatever. But then this part that spoiled the whole thing was just like bringing donuts to a cinema. So like, would you
Give a feedback.
Because I feel like when a girl like kind of like likes the guy, but even if you might be willing to give, you know, honestly, like yo, like this part, like I wasn't feeling you, but
I think
I
think it depends on the girl, and I think in your case, what you're specifying right now, I think she would keep it as a sexual option. Depends if she's actually promiscuous.
Yeah.
But if she's not, then probably not even that. But if she's willing to, sleep around here and there with some top tier guys, she's gonna keep him as an option.
yo,
for sure.
we're talking on your behalf.
Yeah, and
That's mad. 'Cause I don't even know where the sexual part comes
yeah,
in.
no, he's just saying.
yeah,
because-
just yeah. But
And also,
Yeah.
like the situation at which they met, so it's not like they met in a common ground where she probably liked his vibe and she met him. She thinks he's cool, like in a
True.
party or something. They met on Bumble.
Yeah.
okay,
And
so
all
that
of
was
a
your
sudden
first
it's like,
date, right?
Bumble, do you something like
So
that?
because it's always like after Bumble, so like
Yeah.
you want to like at least see the vibe
Yeah.
of the person.
Yeah.
But sometimes you also already seen someone from Bumble, like with the pictures and what like, the vibe in the chat.
Catfish.
Like somehow you already know, like, yeah, I think this might be going somewhere. Like, okay, I like the guy, whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's just like, why wouldn't you want to give someone like a feedback? I mean, it's like job application. So you apply for a job, you're rejected. But I mean, and we all get, you work in HR, you know what I'm saying? Like, we all get like super furious if you apply for jobs and like they
Right.
just
Yeah,
go.
you're not
that's-
qualified, but
that's
that's
another
a
topic,
job.
especially like
That's a
ghosting,
job.
ghosting in jobs, right?
It's not
You know,
like
but
that.
for
It's only
dating-
when there's like 500 applications. How do you expect us to go through like 700
it's
applications?
the
a
same
second?
But
also.
explain why they tell you that, oh, we can't take you because you're overqualified, but you're just applying for something.
Yo, that's another thing. But is this the same in
Yeah,
dating? Like, that's my question.
think
Like, why
it
would you
is.
not want to give a feedback though?
I don't know. I just feel like I felt like maybe he had his reasons for like him bringing a donor to the cinema.
Okay.
You know, not affording popcorns or like nachos or whatever. But I just felt like I was in a place where I couldn't even ask him, why did you do that?
Okay.
Maybe I couldn't take his answer. Maybe I just didn't want to know because the fuck.
Because you already just like lost interest
Yeah.
at that point. So, but
Yeah.
if you didn't do that, like, do you think you could have like gone further with this guy, or were there other things? So apart from the donor stuff, like you
Right.
could. Yo,
Yeah,
you might be
and
watching this
also-
Let me
podcast,
say
so
he might
maybe.
be, but he had this weird fetish.
And we need another topic for like those juicy
No, I
things.
want to hear that for sure.
But then I'm curious. So it's
Oh
not.
my
So what was the
days.
fetish?
He like his nipples sucked.
Okay, it's fine. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
We're talking about ghosting, and now we have nipples. I don't know what to say. It's like
But he told you that though. I mean, like you guys never like met, like you just met. So like this was one of the things he mentioned, like while texting and stuff.
Yeah,
Okay.
and also one of the things that he mentioned after, like when we left the cinema, when he left the cinema, he's like, "Oh, I'm leaving. Can your company like work me out?" You know, that's one of the things he mentioned. I was like, "Bruh,
you want? Okay, he told you to suck his
that's mad,
Like outside of the cinema.
dog."
Like get a room.
Let's
Bro,
have a
he's
one-
looking
one
at
of-
me with so much
Yo,
disappointment.
bro.
You want to
Nah, I'm just.
outside the cinema? You want like to suck his nipple?
No.
Is this real?
Okay.
He like, bruh. Oh my god.
Anywho, no, I see why. Maybe you don't know. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
so,
okay, yeah.
you don't. Okay, cool.
You know, I was even going to support him and say maybe he was hungry and he would have said, "Okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to come with a donor because I was
Hungry
working
for
and I
what?
needed something. I need to eat something." And if he had said that, probably he doesn't have. We need more crazy stories
Yeah,
from
yeah,
dating.
yeah,
We need to
yeah.
have
We
food.
do.
Explore that in
We
another
should.
topic.
We should.
But then nipples. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Nipples is crazy.
He wants breast milk.
And in the cinema, bruh.
This is we have parental guidance on this podcast. I hope
my
because yo, I'm curious. Roy,
Yeah.
like what? I mean, that was interesting stories there. But from your side, what are some of the reasons why you have ghosted someone, if you ever did?
Well, I think it comes down to just so I can give you maybe a bit of a background. You know, I've had a nice date that turned out of a dating app. I can say also, it came out of Tinder, to be honest. You said Tinder is only for something specific.
Sorry,
I have proof, actually. I'm not copying because it said Tinder.
I would usually agree on that, to be honest, but in this specific case, it was something a bit different. The girl was super interested in me from the get-go. A lot of compliments throughout texting before we even meeting. And then we get to the date, and she she just doesn't look like the pictures.
That's bad. That's crazy. That's crazy.
And I kind of, the thing is, she was super, super into me. To the fact that she couldn't let go. Like she, when I kind of gave her a colder shoulder, she was still super into me. Not in the way where I was disrespectful in any way. It's just like, I was not too much of a storyteller that date. I was not too,
enthusiastic. You weren't.
Usually, look, I'm a very straightforward guy. But in that moment, she was like hooked. She was hooked to the point where, I thought that if I break it down to her and give her the honest, she will break down in tears to that extent. So, I don't like the ghosting part too much, but in that specific case, the date moved forward. When she leaned in to kiss, I kind of leaned away, so I did not. But I was sure she would get the message.
She'll get the message.
Yeah.
But turns out she didn't.
Well, she didn't. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Mad.
Yeah.
She was still super hooked. She was still super into it. I still kept getting text messages after that. I didn't want to straight up block her because I felt like this would be like insanely disrespectful. So what I did was just like tell her the date was nice. I appreciate the time, but I think I will move with my own path. And she was like, no, I felt something completely different. I feel like it could be such a good fit, and maybe we should just give it another try. What do you think about that? And I feel like this is something that is super dishonest, first of all, to kind of cheat on your pictures, especially on a dating app, because I feel like girls and guys, when it comes to that, it's kind of the same thing. You don't want to get something completely different when it comes to the date.
That's what I got.
It's a huge disappointment. And I think, when it comes to dating apps, you kind of judge by the pictures.
By the pictures,
I mean, bio plays a nice part, but come on, it's the pictures that kind of give you the first impression of the person. And I think when it came to the first date, I was just turned off instantly.
And was this how do you say, like when you say she wasn't like what she looked, so is it like she used a completely different, like someone else's picture, or more like she was just maybe over made up and over edited and like, so it's still a picture but just like, or she used an AI version of that picture?
Let's just say she used a lot of Photoshop to kind of
to cover some details.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not a person to shame anybody in any way. It's just like she really, really changed her appearance to something that I don't appreciate preference-wise.
Okay.
So I had a choice to make when it came to the date. I could have just broke it down to her, but like I said, this was a super sensitive person that, you never know nowadays. And this is something I want to point out because I've had stories that I've heard before of people who have broken down some news like that to another person, and this other person just were super sensitive and kind of escalated things to make up stories or rumors, and it kind of escalates to a bad point, and I didn't want that to happen. So what I've done is just I elegantly finished the date, went my separate way, and eventually a few days later I sent that text that I told you about, but ever since then, I got a series of text messages after, and I just did not
ignored.
reply.
I think you did the best thing actually, because there was that kind of person. There was nothing you were going to tell them.
That's real though, because I've also been on a date where I met up with the guy. Like, oh God, do I even want to say his race right now? Like, we went on a date, and when I got there, it was his face but not his body.
I think we have to also have another topic where we just talk about what I ordered versus
what I got in dating.
Because all these things are happening in Berlin. Kebab, abidona, and then catfish. Like just Berlin that I'm leaving. We need we need another video where we talk about just what I ordered versus what I got.
Like,
because what is that?
But what do you mean it was his face and not his body?
I looked for that guy. I looked for him. I couldn't find him. I had to text him, where are you? He's like, oh, I'm outside.
No, we need another one.
And then when he waved at me, that's when I recognized, oh, it's you.
Part two, you know.
Can we?
In the part two, we always just want the stories. Maybe we should just do that. You just come and tell us all the crazy stories because where do you find them?
Oh, really? Okay.
Bumble?
That was mad.
Is that Bumble too?
Look, I'd like to give Bumble the benefit of the doubt because my sister found her husband right there.
But is that where you found these two men?
Yes.
Ha! This Bumble is not for you.
It's not for me. Right?
Change.
Not for
Switch,
me.
switch it up.
Not for me.
Switch it up.
We really need a part two because we need a part two because we have to wrap up. But then part two, I think we need to do a part two, okay? Because I didn't even hear your own story. Who knows?
I don't have stories to worry. I'm just here to hear their stories.
We need part two.
But interesting stuff. Stuff. Before we wrap it up, how do we deal with ghosting? So, if you're someone who has been ghosted, like what are the ways, how can you, because I feel like there's a huge emotional part to this as well, right? I think you kind of mentioned that at the beginning, there's an emotional side to it. And there are people who don't take rejection, like, how do you say, they don't take it,
They don't take it like it, but then that's what happens in adult life.
And so, but what are ways to, to manage? So if you're someone who has been ghosted, someone who has been rejected, like how do you, not allow that, affect your, self-esteem. They say like beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you're just not good for someone, but maybe you're good for someone else, right?
Yeah.
Are there things you guys have seen in terms of, how people should handle like this
ghosting?
I think when it comes to men and women, I think it's very different how they take it. I think I can speak personally for men because I think this is what I'm as close as it gets from my own perspective. I think it's just best to focus on, thinking about yourself. What can you improve from your side when it comes to communication? Because I feel like that's the first impression you get after the picture part, obviously, and the bio. And communication is the next thing, right? Because even if it's a dating app, you move to texting straightforward. And you should always be an initiator, I feel like, as a man, at least. And like I said, I'm speaking from my own experience and perspective as a man. I feel like you always need to take the part of initiating when it comes to the communication, take part of, planning the date. I think it plays a huge role. So I think there's a lot of things you can just recap and learn from what could have been wrong. And sometimes it's just not you.
Yeah, it's not
you need to understand it.
I was going to say that.
But it's very important to acknowledge that and take it forward. And, it's a consistency thing. Keep going. Don't just blame yourself instantly because it's something that we usually do as humans. Just keep going, have consistency, keep going on dates, giving more chances. Don't put yourself, in a place where you get depressed or you just get into your feelings too much. Improve on the points where you can. If it's your physical appearance, there's always stuff that you can do. If it's your mental game, there's always stuff that you can do. Whether it's men or women, I'm speaking in general right now. So that would be my advice to everyone out there in the dating game.
No, I totally agree. And I think there's also this part of maybe even you like trying to seek the feedback as well, right? So sometimes when you're doing the text, like, I don't know, 1 day, 2 days, there's no response, right? Even a simple like, yo, I see that you're not responding, but just as a way of courtesy, right? Is there something, maybe I said wrong or like something, you think is the reason why, whatever, right? If she wants to, right, she can, right? But I think maybe asking sometimes as well could be something like where you're also just trying to get that feedback, because with that feedback, then you also know like, okay, maybe this is something I can work on. But yeah, maybe there's a like thin line between also like letting that affect you as a person, because if someone tells you like I don't think any girl is going to tell a guy like you're ugly, bro. You know what I'm
Do
saying?
you know why I
Trust
think
me,
But there's like a maybe thin line between that, right? But
I have something to say. Do you know why I feel like you shouldn't do that? If you've been ghosted, you're just trying to, like, it's like you have an injury and you're trying to open it more. Because, for example, now, let's say we went on a date and I ghosted you, and you came to me asking me that, blah, 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 and I tell you that, because you're wearing white shirt, I don't like white shirt. And you now probably put that in your head, and your next dates you'd now wear black. She might not like black.
So
the feedback is not like, it's really not necessary, like it's not really like it wouldn't work. But I'm really curious from a woman's perspective, like how do you think you should handle ghosting?
To be honest, I feel like women are a little bit more sensitive than guys, and I don't know, I just feel like when a guy, it depends. It really does depend, because if a guy comes to you and tells you, okay, like I didn't really enjoy the date, or like we had a really nice date, but I don't think it can be anything more than friends. You just have to take it as it is, because there's nothing you can change about it, you know. But I also feel like, it comes with expectations also from women. Maybe we expect a little bit more from guys. We expect that if I meet you and we go on a date, like it's not just gonna be, what it's actually gonna be, but something different. I don't know if this makes sense.
Something different in what sense? So
like maybe we meet and you don't like me, but I like you, and I feel like, okay, we could be something, but you don't feel like it could be something. And you end up telling me, look, Lenah, you're a really nice girl, but
we should be friends.
Friends. And I get hurt because, okay, I thought we could be more than friends, you know?
Because
I feel like as a women, we should lower our expectations until we are really sure that this can actually be what
our friend zone topic.
Like, we should hope, like, always leave room for disappointment.
One thing I would say, I think my own peak of dates, ghosting would be move on. Honestly, because you should think about it. Like, what if this person knew that we're not connected and we move further to like 3-4 dates? The more time you spend with the person, the more invested you are. That's like, you're more likely to get more hurt. So if it happens, just let it go.
And investing the say don't stay with losing traits.
And
let it go.
I feel like women should let it go in between the lines.
I think
because you can see that this guy is not giving you as much attention as you are giving him. Or like, to be honest, it's all about reciprocation. If you are texting someone twice a day, he doesn't even care to text you back. Bitch, come on now.
It's like you're just talking about our friend zoning topic, because this is everything we said in the topic. Like that friend zone. We talked about this. We're like, okay, for example, you should know. Anyways, you should watch the friend zone topic. I'm not spilling the tea.
I like
it was
that.
so nice. You need to watch it.
Yeah, they should go and watch friend zoning. So, because I think it's something like we've touched on some of these topics.
Wow.
Okay. Very interesting points from you guys. Interesting stories, and really nice tips, right? Also from what you said, trying to work on yourself. I still believe someone should, if you can, get the feedback, because without feedback, you don't know how to like improve yourself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but again, there's thin line between knowing which feedback is a reasonable one and which one is just like bullshit. Yeah. So if you don't like that I wore white, bro, like, sorry.
That's
like,
just an example.
So but I'm just saying, like, in the end, like,
if somebody goes to you, why would you want to be telling me? Tell me why you're not talking to me. That's weird.
It's not tell me why, but it's kind of like there are like very polite ways. You know what I'm saying? To be able to ask a person like, yo, like, especially when you also knew that maybe there was some things you said, like, during the date that was not, like you were having some assumptions that, maybe because you paid, but you were not sure, right?
Yeah.
So in this case, I would ask, like, yo, like, could it be because I, paid and, something like, just to see, because again, if you don't improve and you're going with that assumption that, it's because, there's no way, like, you can better, like, your outcome for the next one.
But then,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But I also feel like, for both genders, we should always be prepared not to get answers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we could go on a date and you wouldn't be able, like, Berlin is a very big city. Come on,
we need a part 2.
Like, I could meet, like, we'll talk about it on part 2.
Yeah, we need to hear
like,
the stories.
I could meet you, we go on a date, we vibe, or maybe you don't vibe with me or vice versa. But, like, we spend a whole year, you wouldn't even meet me, not even once. I wouldn't even get closure from you. You know what I mean? I would never know. So you should always prepare yourself for like the worst. You should always prepare to learn from like either put yourself in someone's shoes and think, okay, what could have worked wrong?
Yeah.
I also just want to pitch in quickly on that topic. I think there's also a lot to do with the chasing game here because you know there's a lot of things to do with the testing period. Might be, you know, that we do it on part 2, obviously, but I think that in general there's also a lot of things to do with the testing phase when it comes to first date. But yeah, we'll get to that on part 2 probably.
Okay, guys, it's been a great one. Thank you to Lenah and Roy for exploring this topic with us. Crazy dating stories in Berlin and ghosting. We hope our listeners and viewers have been able to pick 1 or 2 things. If you have been ghosted or you are ghosting other people, repent. But anywho, we're gonna be back again next time, same channel.
Yeah.
Like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments. No, like, what are some of your stories? Yeah,
and let us know how much you want part 2 because stories.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to get,
I
that's a lot catfishing.
if you want to get more of these stories, let us know as well. So we're gonna bring it back to you guys. Until next time, we'll see you later.
One thing, Buki. Sorry to cut you short. So this is really interesting, and even if we have part 2, so in case you have an interesting story you want to share and you don't want to come on the podcast, send it to us and we could read it here and just laugh and relate and something. That'd be interesting.
True. So I think so we're gonna put that on our Instagram, right? So we can put like a thing there for people to fill out. And I think
that's interesting.
Good point. So we're gonna do that. Anywho, thank you for staying right with us. Obliterate the like button, like kill it.
Press it.
Yeah, and subscribe.
Drink
until
water.
next time, drink water.
Mind your
stay safe,
business and watch Onlyfacts.
and we're gonna see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.